Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today, we will be ranking the Demon Lord Council members from the weakest to the strongest. But before that, I just wanted to say thank you all for your support. I really appreciate all the likes, all the comments, and all the subscribers. And if you guys have any suggestions on what anime I should cover next or what I should do for the next video, please be sure to tell me about it in the comments. But now let's get on with the video. Number 8, Leon Cromwell. When people talk about the strongest demon lords in that time, I got reincarnated as a slime. Names like Milim Nava, Guy Crimson, Rimuru Tempest, and Dagruel immediately come to mind. But what about Leon Cromwell? Despite his impressive reputation, many fans consider Leon to be the weakest active member of the Octagram. So, let's examine whether that claim is actually true by looking at his abilities, statistics, and feats from the anime, manga, and light novels. Leon Cromwell is a former chosen hero who became a demon lord after defeating the former demon lord Kazalam and taking his seat among the demon lords. He later became one of the founding members of the Octagram and currently rules the nation of El Dorado. He is classified as a demonoid, possesses a catastrophied level threat rating, and is ranked Special S. Despite these impressive titles, Leon often finds himself overshadowed by the monsters surrounding him. Leon's current ultimate skill is Surya, Lord of Brilliance, which evolved from his previous ultimate skill, Metatron, Lord of Purity. Metatron specialized in manipulating and generating incredibly pure energy with a focus on purification and holy attributes. It was particularly effective against demons and spiritual beings. One of Leon's greatest strengths is his mastery over spiritrons, allowing him to use holy attacks that can directly affect souls and spiritual bodies. This makes him one of the deadliest holy element users in this series. Leon possesses several devastating attacks: Disintegration, Melt Breaker, 100 Breaker, 100 Prison, Lightspeed Slash. His attacks focused on overwhelming speed and holy element destruction. Many light novel readers compare Leon's offensive capability to an upgraded version of Hinata's Spiritron attacks. Some fans even argue that Leon can repeatedly use attacks comparable to Melt Slash thanks to his ultimate skill. Leon's stats. His attack power, extremely high. Leon's holy element and Spiritron attacks are lethal against both physical and spiritual opponents. His speed, one of his greatest strengths. His combat style revolves around high-speed movement and light-based sword attacks. His intelligence, very high. Leon is a former hero, skilled strategist, and experienced ruler. Durability, excellent, but not exceptional compared to the strongest Octagram members. His versatility, high. Overall threat level, catastrophe class, a level capable of threatening entire nations. Now, let's get into some of Leon's major feats. Defeated Kazalam. One of Leon's earliest and most important feats was defeating Kazalam in a life-or-death battle. This victory earned him recognition as a demon lord and secured his place among the world's strongest beings. Summoned and controlled Ifrit. Leon successfully summoned the Greater Fire Elemental Ifrit and later used Shizu Izawa as a vessel. This demonstrated an extremely high level of elemental control and magical expertise centuries before the main story began. Created and maintained El Dorado. Leon rules El Dorado, one of the most advanced and wealthy nations in the world. Its military power, magical technology, and global influence all exist under Leon's leadership. Survived among the strongest beings in the world. Perhaps Leon's most underrated feat is simply remaining relevant. The late light novels introduce monsters with true dragon-level power, angelic armies, divine beings, and world-ending threats. Despite this, Leon continues fighting alongside the strongest characters in the series. Coming in at number 7, we got Luminous Valentine, the ruler of the Holy Empire of Lubelius, the secret goddess worshipped by millions, the queen of vampires. At first glance, Luminous appears to be a powerful but relatively ordinary demon lord. The truth is far more terrifying. Behind her elegant appearance is a being capable of controlling life and death, resurrecting the dead, manipulating souls, and wielding some of the most powerful holy magic in the entire series. So let's break down Luminous Valentine's abilities, stats, feats, and why she deserves far more respect in discussions about the Octagram. Luminous Valentine is one of the founding members of the Octagram and the ruler of the Holy Empire of Lubelius. Ironically, the nation that worships the goddess Luminous is secretly being ruled by the very person they worship. For centuries, she maintained this deception while guiding humanity from the shadows. Luminous is also the progenitor of vampires and one of the oldest beings in the world. As a true demon lord, she possesses immense magical power, vast experience, and authority over both life and death. Officially, she holds a catastrophic class threat rating and stands among the strongest beings in existence. Most demon lords specialize in destruction. Luminous specializes in something far more dangerous: control over life itself. Unlike characters who rely solely on overwhelming force, Luminous possesses abilities that allow her to heal, restore, revive, manipulate vitality, and influence the very essence of living beings. This makes her one of the most versatile fighters in the entire series. She can destroy enemies, she can save allies, and in some situations, she can even bring the dead back to life. One of Luminous's strongest abilities is Ahura Mazda, Lord of Radiance. This ultimate skill grants her the ability known as life domination. As the name suggests, this ability allows control over life and vitality itself. Among all the ultimate skills in Tensura, few possess such direct authority over life and death. Luminous also possesses a second ultimate skill, Angram Mainyu, Lord of Vice. This skill grants numerous powerful abilities, including thought acceleration, universal perception, analytical appraisal, all things creation, skill duplication, skill synchronization, space-time manipulation, multidimensional barrier, eternal regression. This ultimate skill dramatically increases her versatility and allows her to operate on the level of the strongest late-series characters. Luminous is arguably one of the greatest holy magic users in the series. Her arsenal includes disintegration, holy arc, resurrection, regeneration, sanctuary resurrection, sanctuary disintegration, sanctuary regeneration. Many of these techniques operate on a scale far beyond ordinary magic. Now, let's move on to some of Luminous's greatest feats. For centuries, Luminous successfully ruled the Western Holy Church from the shadows. Millions worshipped her as a divine being without realizing she was a demon lord. Maintaining this level of influence over human civilization is one of the greatest political feats in the series. Ruled Lubelius. Luminous transformed Lubelius into one of the most powerful and influential nations in the world. Its military, religion, and political structure were all built around her leadership. Defeated powerful enemies throughout history. As one of the oldest demon lords, Luminous has survived countless wars, conflicts, and world-changing events. Her continued presence among the Octagram demonstrates her immense power and experience. Remained relevant in the late light novels. As the power scale of Tensura continued to grow, Luminous continued evolving as well. The acquisition of multiple ultimate skills, digital nature, and Genesis-grade equipment ensured she remained a major player among the strongest beings in existence. At number 6, we have Dino, the sleeping ruler, the laziest member of the Octagram. A guy who spends more time sleeping, eating snacks, and avoiding work than actually fighting. Yet behind that lazy personality is one of the oldest, most dangerous, and most powerful beings in existence. Today we're breaking down Dino's abilities, stats, feats, and why many fans completely underestimate his true power. Dino is a fallen angel and the 6th seat member of the Octagram. Long before demon lords existed, he was one of the original 7 angels of origin directly created by Nava, the Star King Dragon and creator of the world. Not only was Dino one of Nava's closest servants, he also served as his chief advisor and personal sword on the battlefield. He has existed since the dawn of creation itself. That alone makes him older than nearly every character in the series. Officially, Dino is classified as a special S, catastrophic class threat, and a true demon lord. However, those rankings don't tell the whole story. One of the biggest misconceptions about Dino is that what we usually see is not his full strength. After Nava's death, Dino became consumed by grief and rage. In a fit of anger, he completely destroyed the nation responsible for Nava's murder. The destruction was so severe that Dino became horrified by what he had done. As a result, he intentionally sealed away much of his own power and restricted his strongest abilities, meaning the Dino we usually see is intentionally holding himself back. Dino's current ultimate skill is Azathoth, Lord of Fallen. This skill was created through the fusion and evolution of two previous ultimate skills: Astarte, Lord of Heaven; Belphegor, Lord of Sloth. The result is one of the most dangerous ultimate skills in the series: Belphegor, Lord of Sloth. Before evolving, Belphegor gave Dino terrifying mental and reality-altering abilities. These included Fallen Catastrophe, Fallen Thanatos, Thought Acceleration, Deep Hypno, Fallen Hypno. Several of these abilities focus on sleep induction, mental domination, and forcing targets into states of helplessness. Astarte, Lord of Heaven. Astarte was Dino's original angelic ultimate skill. It represented the power he possessed as one of Veldanava's greatest servants. After thousands of years, this ability eventually evolved and merged into Astaroth. Dino's abilities. Dino is a master swordsman. This is where Dino becomes truly terrifying. According to the light novels, Dino was considered one of Veldanava's greatest swordsmen. He is specifically stated to be at his strongest when wielding dual blades. Some sources even describe him as the greatest dual sword user in existence. Unlike many characters who rely heavily on ultimate skills, Dino can overwhelm opponents through pure combat skill. Apotheosis. Dino possesses an ability known as Apotheosis. This allows him to access his true divine power and remove restrictions placed upon him. Dino also possesses god-tier equipment like Excalibur, a god-grade golden sword, one of Dino's primary weapons and a blade worthy of one of the oldest angels in existence, and Caliburn, a god-grade dark silver sword. Combined with Excalibur, it forms Dino's devastating dual sword fighting style. Divine armaments. Dino also possesses divine-class equipment created for beings operating at the highest levels of power. Now, let's get on to some of his greatest feats. Following the death of Veldanava and Lucia, Dino unleashed his rage and completely destroyed the nation responsible. This feat alone demonstrates destructive power on a level far beyond most demon lords. Dino also served as Veldanava's sword. Being trusted as Veldanava's personal combat representative is one of the greatest statements in the entire series. Veldanava was the creator god of the Tensura universe. The fact that Dino served as his primary battlefield sword speaks volumes about his strength. He helped prevent Milim's rampage. When Milim lost control in the distant past, Dino assisted from the shadows alongside Guy and Ramiris in preventing complete disaster. The fact that he was involved in events of that scale further demonstrates his importance. At number 5, we have Dagruel, the Earthquake, the God Killer, the King of Giants. Unlike most top-tier characters, in that time I got reincarnated as a slime, Dagruel doesn't rely on flashy ultimate skills, complicated hacks abilities, or reality warping powers. Instead, he relies on something much simpler: pure, overwhelming strength. And somehow, that's enough to place him among the most dangerous beings in the entire world. So let's break down Dagruel's abilities, stats, feats, and why many fans consider him one of the strongest demon lords in the Octagram. Dagruel is the leader of the giant race, ruler of the holy void of Damargania, and the 4th seat of the Octagram. He is a true giant who has existed for over 20,000 years and possesses a catastrophic last threat level. Long before the current era, Dagruel and his brothers were originally part of a single being known as the Wicked God. This monstrous entity was so powerful that Veldanava himself had to intervene and split it into 3 separate beings: Dagruel, Fen, Glassard. Even after being divided, Dagruel remained one of the strongest entities in existence. The craziest thing about Dagruel is most of the strongest characters in Tensura possess ultimate skills. Rimuru has multiple, Guy has 1, Milim has 1, Luminous has 2, Dino possesses Astaroth, Dagruel, none. That's right, despite standing among the strongest demon lords in existence. Dagruel does not possess an ultimate skill, yet he is repeatedly portrayed as a being comparable to true dragons through sheer power alone. That alone should tell you how absurdly powerful he is. Physical strength is Dagruel's greatest weapon. His raw physical power is so overwhelming that many characters compare him directly to a natural disaster. His aura alone can shake enormous structures. His punches can devastate battlefields, and his strength is repeatedly compared to beings on the level of the true dragons. Unlike most demon lords, Dagruel doesn't need complicated abilities. His fists are enough. Magic Nullification is one of Dagruel's most dangerous abilities. This allows him to negate many magical attacks entirely. Against magic-based opponents, this ability makes him an absolute nightmare to fight. Dagruel also has attribute neutralization. He can neutralize elemental and attribute-based attacks. This drastically reduces the effectiveness of many techniques used by other powerful fighters. One of Dagruel's signature powers is all things destruction. As the name suggests, this ability focuses entirely on overwhelming destructive force. Combined with his physical strength, it allows him to tear through defenses that would stop most other demon lords. Perhaps the most shocking ability in Dagruel's arsenal is Time Stop. Despite lacking an ultimate skill, he is capable of operating within the highest levels of combat where manipulation of time itself becomes possible. One of Dagruel's most impressive feats is repeatedly fighting Rimuru Tempest without a clear winner emerging. Considering Rimuru is a true dragon, this alone places Dagruel among the strongest beings in existence. During his assault on Lubelius, Dagruel overwhelmed both Cian and Luminous Valentine. Even Luminous was unable to confront him directly and had to rely on special strategies to stop him. While fighting his brother Fen, simply releasing his aura caused the Heaven Tower to shake. Few characters possess enough raw power for their presence alone to affect massive structures on that scale. When the ancient conflict between Milim and Guy threatened to devastate the continent, Dagruel helped contain the resulting destruction by redirecting energy into another dimension. Even then, the residual power transformed entire regions into deadly wastelands. And coming in at number 4, when fans discuss the strongest demon lords in that time I got reincarnated as a slime, Ramiris is usually the last name mentioned. After all, she looks harmless. She's tiny, she's childish. She constantly argues with people. And most of the time, she's more interested in snacks and games than fighting. Because of this, many fans assume Ramiris is the weakest member of the Octagram. That assumption couldn't be more wrong. Behind her playful personality lies one of the oldest beings in existence, a former Queen of Spirits, a being connected to the very balance of the world itself, and the owner of one of the most broken abilities in all of Tensura. Let's break down Ramiris's abilities, stats, feats, and why she may be the most underrated demon lord in the entire Octagram. Ramiris is one of the founding members of the Octagram and one of the oldest beings in existence. Long before the current era, she served as the Queen of Spirits and was responsible for maintaining balance throughout the world. Unlike most demon lords, Ramiris wasn't originally a monster. She was a divine spiritual life form with authority over spirits and natural balance. Her current fairy-like appearance is actually the result of repeated reincarnations. Every time Ramiris exhausts her power, she undergoes a cycle of death and rebirth, returning in a smaller and weaker form before eventually regaining her strength. Because of this cycle, the Ramiris we normally see is far weaker than her original self. Most fans judge Ramiris based on her current appearance. That's a mistake. The Ramiris seen throughout most of the series is essentially an incomplete version of herself. In her prime, Ramiris was powerful enough to intervene in conflicts involving some of the strongest beings in history. She once stood alongside Guy Crimson in Milim Nava during one of the most catastrophic events ever recorded. And she survived. That alone should tell you how powerful she truly is. If there is one ability that defines Ramiris, it's Small World. This allows her to create and control the labyrinth. At first glance, that might not sound impressive until you realize what the labyrinth actually is. Inside the labyrinth, Ramiris essentially becomes a god. She controls the environment. She controls the layout. She controls the flow of energy. She controls the monsters, and she can continuously modify the battlefield to her advantage. The deeper opponents travel into the labyrinth, the more dangerous it becomes. The labyrinth isn't just a dungeon. It's Ramiris's personal dimension. Within it, she can reshape terrain, alter structures, create traps, and support her allies. This gives her one of the greatest home field advantages in the entire series. Many powerful characters who could defeat Ramiris outside the labyrinth would face an entirely different challenge inside it. As the former Queen of Spirits, Ramiris possesses authority over elemental spirits. This allows her to communicate with, command, and influence spiritual beings on a level few characters can match. Her connection to spirits is one of the reasons she was originally entrusted with maintaining the world's balance. Ramiris can manipulate various elemental forces through her spirit-based powers. These abilities make her far more versatile than her playful personality suggests. One of Ramiris's greatest specialties is controlling space itself. The labyrinth is essentially a massive demonstration of her spatial abilities. She can create, alter, and manipulate dimensions on a scale that few beings can rival. And perhaps her most unique ability is her reincarnation cycle. Even when destroyed, Ramiris can eventually return through rebirth. This makes permanently eliminating her extremely difficult. Now, let's get on to some of her overall feats. One of Ramiris's most famous feats occurred during Milim Nava's ancient rampage. As Milim's power spiraled out of control, Ramiris intervened. She successfully calmed Milim and helped prevent even greater destruction. The effort severely damaged Ramiris and ultimately led to the reincarnation cycle she still suffers from today. This remains one of the greatest feats in Tensura history. For countless years, Ramiris served as the Queen of Spirits and maintained harmony throughout creation. This responsibility alone demonstrates her importance to the world's stability. After joining Ramiru's side, Ramiris transformed the labyrinth into an almost impenetrable fortress. The combination of her powers, Veldora's energy, and Tempest's resources created one of the most dangerous locations in the world. Coming in at number 3, we have Guy Crimson, the Lord of Darkness, the Primordial Red, the first Demon Lord, the King of Demons. For thousands of years, Guy sat at the very top of the Tensura world. Before Rimuru's rise, he was widely considered the strongest demon lord in existence, a being so powerful that even other demon lords feared him. A monster capable of fighting true dragons, battling Milim Nava for days, and maintaining the balance of the entire world through sheer strength alone. Guy Crimson is the oldest of the 7 primordial demons and the first known true demon lord. He has existed since the dawn of creation and serves as the first seat of the Octagram. Long before the current era, Guy ruled the demon realm as the strongest of all demons. Even among the primordials, he stood alone at the top. After being summoned into the central world, he awakened as a true demon lord and eventually caught the attention of Veldanava himself. The only confirmed being to ever truly defeat Guy was Veldanava, the Star King Dragon and creator of the world. Even then, Veldanava was impressed enough to appoint him as the world's mediator. That alone tells you everything you need to know about Guy's power. Unlike most powerful characters, Guy doesn't rely on a single broken ability. He's dangerous because he excels at everything. Strength, speed, magic, swordsmanship, battle IQ, adaptability, experience. Guy has spent thousands of years fighting the strongest beings in existence and constantly evolving. Many characters have overwhelming power. Guy combines overwhelming power with overwhelming skill. That's what makes him so dangerous. Guy's ultimate skill is Lucifer, Lord of Pride. One of its most feared abilities is perfect reproduction. This allows Guy to analyze and replicate techniques and abilities after observing them. Combined with his incredible intellect and combat experience, this effectively allows him to adapt to almost any opponent. The longer a battle lasts, the stronger Guy becomes. This is one of the main reasons so many characters struggle against him. Guy can accelerate his thought processes to absurd levels. This allows him to analyze situations, predict enemy actions, and react almost instantly in combat. He possesses predictive abilities that allow him to anticipate enemy attacks before they happen. Against most opponents, this makes landing a successful hit nearly impossible. Guy can also manipulate time itself. This includes time stop, allowing him to operate within some of the highest levels of combat in the series. Guy possesses one of the most oppressive auras in the series with his Demon Lord Haki. His presence alone is enough to terrify weaker beings and overwhelm opponents with sheer pressure. He is one of the greatest magic users in existence. His mastery of offensive, defensive, and destructive magic allows him to compete with true dragons and other top-tier beings. Some of Guy's most impressive feats include fighting Velzard to a draw. Velzard is one of the true dragons, the strongest race in existence. Guy fought her and survived a battle that literally altered the world's axis. Very few characters can claim anything remotely comparable. He defeated Cromwell effortlessly. Even before reaching his current level of power, Guy was capable of defeating Leon Cromwell while barely taking the fight seriously. This demonstrates the enormous gap between Guy and most demon lords. He also rivaled with Rudra for thousands of years. Guy and Rudra repeatedly fought each other over the course of history without either side obtaining a clear advantage. Considering Rudra's status as one of the strongest humans ever born, this is an incredible feat. And he maintains the balance of the world. For thousands of years, Guy acted as the world's mediator. Whenever civilizations threatened global balance, Guy personally intervened. Very few characters possess enough power and authority to influence the entire world on that level. And at number 2, we have Milim Nava, the Destroyer, the daughter of Nava, and one of the oldest and most feared demon lord in existence. At first glance, Milim looks harmless. She's energetic, she's childish, she's obsessed with having fun, and she spends most of her time causing trouble. But beneath that playful personality lies one of the greatest monsters ever born. A being whose power is so overwhelming that entire nations fear her existence. A demon lord capable of fighting Guy Crimson for a week straight. A dragonoid whose strength continues increasing the longer she fights. Milim Nava is the daughter of Nava, the Star King dragon and creator of the world. That alone makes her one of the most unique beings in existence. She is a dragonoid, a race so rare that Milim is essentially one of a kind. Over 2,000 years ago, tragedy struck when her beloved dragon companion Gaia was killed. Consumed by grief and rage, Milim unleashed her power and began one of the most devastating rampages in history. The destruction was so great that Guy Crimson himself had to intervene. Following these events, Milim awakened as a true demon lord and became one of the founding members of the Demon Lord Council alongside Guy Crimson and Ramiris. Most powerful characters have limits. Milim doesn't. Her ultimate skill contains one of the most absurd abilities in the entire series, Magicule Breeder Reactor. This ability continuously generates Magicules by combining her own energy with surrounding energy and converting it into even more power. In simple terms, the longer Milim fights, the stronger she becomes. And unlike most characters, she doesn't have to worry about running out of energy. This single ability is one of the main reasons she sits near the very top of the Tensura power scale. Milim's ultimate skill is Satanel, Lord of Wrath. This skill perfectly reflects her nature. The angrier she becomes, the stronger she gets. And because of Magicule Breeder Reactor, her power growth can continue for an extremely long time. She also possesses the ability called Magicule Breeder Reactor. This is the core of Milim's power. The ability continuously generates enormous amounts of energy. It is often described as functioning similarly to an endless energy generator. This allows Milim to unleash devastating attacks without suffering the same limitations as most fighters. When Milim completely loses control, she enters her infamous stampede state. In this form, her destructive power reaches terrifying levels. Her already overwhelming strength becomes even greater while her instincts take over. Milim possesses Dragon Eye, one of the most powerful analytical abilities in the series. This allows her to instantly analyze opponents' abilities, weaknesses, and combat situations. Many fans underestimate Milim's intelligence because of her personality. That is a mistake. She is actually an incredibly skilled fighter and strategist when necessary. One of Milim's most terrifying powers is her control over Stardust. Stardust is considered one of the densest and most destructive forms of energy in existence. Very few characters possess attacks capable of matching it. Dragon Nova is Milim's signature attack. This technique unleashes catastrophic amounts of energy capable of devastating entire regions. Among offensive attacks in Tensura, Dragon Nova is considered one of the most feared. But now let's get into some of Milim's insane feats. Destroying a nation. After Gaia's death, Milim unleashed her rage and annihilated the great sorceress. Nation of Soma. This rampage became one of the most infamous events in history. Fought Guy Crimson for 7 days, one of the greatest feats in Tensura. Guy Crimson, the strongest demon lord of his era, fought Milim continuously for 7 days and 7 nights. Neither side achieved a decisive victory. The battle devastated entire regions and remains one of the greatest clashes ever recorded. She also continues to grow stronger. Unlike most characters who eventually reach their limit, Milim's abilities allow her power to continue increasing throughout battle. This is one of the reasons fans frequently place her among the strongest characters in the entire series. When that time I got reincarnated as a slime began, nobody expected a simple slime to become one of the strongest beings in existence. Yet that's exactly what happened. Coming in at number 1 we have Rimuru Tempest, the founder and king of the Jura Tempest Federation, the 5th true dragon, the chaos creator, the demon lord who surpassed gods, dragons, angels, and demons. What started as the story of a friendly slime quickly became the story of one of the most broken characters in anime and light novel history. Originally, Rimuru was an ordinary human named Satoru Mikami. After dying in modern Japan, he reincarnated into another world as a slime. Most people would consider being reborn as a slime a terrible outcome. For Rimuru, it became the greatest blessing imaginable. Immediately after reincarnating, he obtained 2 unique skills: Predator, Great Sage. These abilities would eventually evolve into powers capable of rewriting reality itself. After befriending Veldora Tempest, Rimuru began building the nation that would become the Jura Tempest Federation. Over time, he united monsters, defeated demon lords, battled ancient threats, and eventually ascended beyond almost every known life form. Most characters in Tensura have limits. Rimuru doesn't. His entire existence revolves around evolution. Every major battle, every absorbed enemy, every new skill, every evolution makes him stronger. Unlike most characters who eventually reach their peak, Rimuru continuously gains new abilities throughout the series. And by the end of the light novels, that growth becomes almost impossible to measure. Rimuru's first major ability was Predator. This skill allowed him to consume targets, analyze them, and acquire their abilities. At the beginning of the series, this was already incredibly powerful, but it was only the start. At the same time, Rimuru possessed Great Sage. This skill acted like an incredibly advanced supercomputer. It could analyze situations, process information, and assist Rimuru in battle. Over time, Great Sage evolved repeatedly. After becoming a true demon lord, Great Sage evolved into Raphael. Raphael dramatically increased Rimuru's analytical abilities and became one of the strongest support skills in the entire series. Eventually, Raphael evolved again into Seal. This evolution completely changed the game. Seal isn't simply a skill. Seal functions almost like a separate superintelligence capable of managing Rimuru's countless abilities, optimizing strategies, and continuously improving his powers. Many fans consider Seal one of the strongest abilities in the entire franchise. Rimuru's ultimate evolution came with the acquisition of Azathoth, God of Void. This ultimate skill grants access to terrifying abilities including Soul Consumption, Imaginary Space, Turn Null, True Dragon Release, True Dragon Nucleation. At this point, Rimuru's power reaches a level beyond most other characters in existence. Before Azathoth, Rimuru possessed Beelzebooth, Lord of Gluttony. This ultimate skill expanded Predator into a truly terrifying power. It allowed Rimuru to consume matter, energy, souls, and abilities on an incredible scale. Many of his greatest power-ups came through Beelzebooth's absorption capabilities, one of the strongest abilities in Tensura. Turn Null grants access to the primordial energy used during creation itself. This power possesses enough destructive potential to create or destroy entire worlds. Few abilities in the entire series rival it. Rimuru possesses a near-infinite dimensional storage realm known as Imaginary Space. Anything consumed can be stored, analyzed, modified, or sealed within this dimension. Combined with his other powers, this ability becomes incredibly dangerous. Through his connection with Veldora and Velgrind, Rimuru can utilize true dragon powers and eventually evolve into a true dragon himself. This grants enormous increases in strength, durability, energy reserves, and overall combat ability. Some of Rimuru's greatest feats includes he defeated 2 true dragons. Few characters can claim victories over true dragon-level opponents. Rimuru successfully overcame both Veldora and Velgrind during the Eastern Empire conflict. This alone placed him among the strongest beings in existence. He became a true dragon. Rather than merely fighting true dragons, Rimuru eventually evolved into one himself. This granted him power rivaling the strongest life forms in creation. He defeated Michael, Michael was one of the greatest threats in the entire series. Rimuru's victory over Michael demonstrated just how far he had surpassed ordinary demon lords and finally survived the end of space and time. One of Rimuru's most impressive late-series feats involves existing beyond the conventional limits of time and space. This feat is one of the primary reasons many fans consider him the strongest character in Tensura. So where would you rank in-game Rimuru among the strongest characters in anime and light novels? Do you think anyone besides Milim Nava could defeat him? Was surpassing Guy Crimson inevitable? And where does Rimuru rank among your favorite isekai protagonists? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Tensura power scaling content.